What's going on, guys? Min with Tokusatsu here, and today we've got a special review for you for the Power Rangers Dino Fury individually released Zord packs. Now, I picked these up at my local Target because they're starting to trickle out in stores now. And at first, I thought about getting that 5-pack on Amazon, but being that I just saw these in person, I just thought, might as well, saves me on shipping cost. So here we are now. But this review is going to be a bit different though, so we're going to look at each pack individually at first, then look at the different modes and also the keys in the morpher, and I'll give my final judgment at the end. So starting with TRex Champion here, we'll look at the box first. Got some nice artwork on the front there. To the side, signifies that this is set 1. On the back, also shows you the various modes for the combinations. Very nice artwork of the 5 knights on the side there. Logo on top, and legal mumbo jumbo. Also of note, this is plastic-free packaging as part of Hasbro's initiative to, reduce plastic use on their boxes. Which is why we have an open window right here. But the thing is, I'm not a huge fan of that though, because it allows the toy to be damaged potentially. So I would rather have had them just, cover the entire box in cardboard like the old days, just to protect the product. Alright, so here we have T-Rex Champion out of box, aka Tiramigo, and I took the liberty of transforming him into his T-Rex mode first because I wanted to go over all the animal forms before we do any actual, Megazord / warrior formations. But first impressions though, he's a really nice looking and nice feeling figure. Like, this feels really solid and like it's not going to break at all. Plus, trying to get these feet on, I kind of hurt my hand, so beware with that too. So after transforming him, the only real pieces you're left over with are just his Dino Fury key and this cod piece here, which we'll get to later. But as for the key, I'll bring in the one that came with the figure in comparison. And you can see there's some much better detail on the one that comes with the Zord. Also, going to the back, you see the difference there. We can just take off this back piece that's more so for the Zords. You see that the one that came with the figure has the sticker on the back, while this one has the molded detail. So it's kind of like a give and take here as to which one is better. Oh, dropped it there. And as for the back piece, which is the same for all of them, you have a little ranger inside there, which cockpit figures I think are always neat and a welcome addition. So real quick, we just try his key in the morpher. Make sure it's on. And there's that. Alright, so now to transform him, you'll want to start disassembling some parts here. Some of these are really sturdy and hard to get off. But I've seen some complaints about broken pegs, so I think the best way to avoid that is just to apply equal pressure across any pieces you're trying to remove, as to not bend or stress any of those pegs. All right. Make sure these arms are out the way. Oh, sorry, didn't get that on camera. Okay, so make sure these arms are out of your way. Put down those arms there. Turn your Zord. Let's bring them up there. Okay, so quick note, while I was filming that, this drill piece kind of popped off there. Nothing broke. It's just for some reason, this one is just a little more loose than this one here. It's not going to come off when you try to shake it or anything. So it's fine, but your mileage may vary there. So Just continue rotating those arms down. And let's see, what does the box say? All right, so you're gonna wanna have these drill pieces facing upward. It's just this direction's kind of fusing, or just kind of confusing. All right. See, like this one is much tighter, so just apply equal pressure and you should be good. Okay, I finally got it off and back on. So for some reason, this piece is seriously tight there, so just be careful with that. But continuing, you'll plug these two pieces in on the sides of the arms. And the tail going to the back if it wants to. All right. And the key goes back on. And here we have our TRex Champion Zord battle mode. Oh, one more thing, you can also extend the legs as well, just for a little more height. And there you go. So I gotta say, just like the TRex mode, this does still feel very nice. Nicely painted, looks just like it does in the show. Can't really see any glaring differences, so to speak. And plus, as far as articulation goes, they went all out here in that aspect. There's knee joints, movable elbows, a swivel, hand swivel, and then even as far as the head, he does have some trouble trying to look to the left here. But as long as you can just maneuver him properly, just like get the key over that little bump there, it's just fine. And I almost forgot to mention with the legs, there's an added feature where you can spread it out there for more dynamic posing. Like if there's one I could put him in now. Let's see, I have one in mind. There we go. So I have him in a bit of a blasting pose there, just to kind of, you know, display some of that articulation there. Like, it's not the most dynamic, but I mean, if you're just trying to display him, I think it works. Now, moving on to set 2, here we have the Ankylo Hammer and Tiger Claw Zords. And on the front there, you have this artwork of this really weird formation that I guess I'll show off, but I mean, it's kind of toy exclusive, so it's not really going to be in the show at any point. Plus, I've seen other reviewers like Dawson Ryder who have tried this, and apparently, like, those hind feet on the Tiger Claw Zord are prone to breakage, so I'm really not going to be doing that much at all. But as you see on the back there, you have images of the various other formations. Really nice artwork, on the side there. Logo on top, legal mumbo jumbo. Now, starting off with the Ankylo Zord here, it's pretty much what you would expect from the Japanese version. One added feature I do appreciate is that they did add some head articulation so she's not completely static. And also, paint color-wise, looks just like it does. No complaints there. And then as far as accessories, you have these two drill pieces that I think are just repaints from Reds and are just for that, you know, toy exclusive form that we're going to show off in just a minute. Plus these two arm pieces there, also for the formation. And of course, her key, which with removing the back, if it wants to come off, you can see little Amelia right there in the cockpit. And then in comparison to her Zord key, just like with Reds, the Zord key is much better painted, much better detailed than the one that came with her figure. Back-wise, of course, you have your sticker version and then your just plain detail version. And then showing off in the morpher, you get the gist by now. Moving on to the Tiger Claw Zord. This one I think is probably like my favorite individual one apart from TRex Champion, just because compared to the others, it's not as static and does a lot more too. Like they even gave the added bonus of giving her some articulation on the legs. Like she's got a swivel on the front legs there. It can rotate, but I mean, they should be able to. And then kind of the same for the back, except the hind legs don't swivel, but that's no big deal. Plus, she comes with like a buttload of accessories too. Like she comes with 2 cod pieces, one that comes, or the one that you plug in on the side there to the shoulder, other one on the back where the tail connects to. And then up front, she also has a spear that attaches to the side of her shoulder. And as far as as far as accessories go, you get her key, which I don't have the other one to compare it to because at the time of this recording, the only figures that we have for Green and Black are the ones that came in that Amazon exclusive 5-pack, and I believe Hasbro said that they're going to release them individually next year. But at this point, the Dino Fury toy line is kind of a mess, and I don't care at this point. But just like with the others, the headpiece comes off, and you see a little Izzy on the inside of the cockpit there. And then being that this is a new key, she should have new sounds in the morpher. If it wants to plug in there. It's even on. Okay. I believe I've heard this one before. But there's that. Okay, so for that weird toy exclusive battle mode, I believe you want to start by kind of disassembling Tiger Claw here. These pegs are so sturdy. Let's see, what do I take off first? Tail or the cod piece? Okay. Now we can dislodge the tail. We'll stand up Tiger Claw there. Then, oh, does his head come off? Like, there's no point for me to grab it at. We'll just do a quick cut. Okay, got it off. Like, these pegs are just so sturdy, it's just ridiculous. Like, I'm almost afraid to transform him, but I'll do my best to try and be careful. But you'll take these foot pieces here, plug it into the, like, I'm not even going to try and put it in there all the way. It's just too dangerous, I think. Just kind of slot that in there. And if we can just try and get that in frame. All right, continuing. So I think the arms get flipped to the side there. Drill piece is attached to the shoulders. Then I believe one of Pink's pieces goes on the back. Then Tiger Claw head attaches there. Wants to go in all the way. And then the cot pieces just attach to the sides. And she can also hold that sword there. Kind of wants to lean over. But yeah, I think this is about the gist of it. This is a really hodgepodge, weird looking form. Like I said, I'm not going to be doing this often because it puts too much stress on the hind legs there, which I've heard. But there you go. Okay, one more thing I forgot to mention before we move on is that the Ankylozord does have some added articulation on the tail piece here, which I also do appreciate. Moving on to set 3, here we have the Tricera Blade and Stego Spike Zord. On the front, you have another toy exclusive formation. Moving to the side, better shot of it. On the back, another shot of it. Artwork on the side, logo on top, nothing on bottom. So starting off with Tricera Blade here, he's a bit of the same as Ankylozord in terms of what he can do. Just apart from, you know, that head articulation, which is very much appreciated. And for accessories, of course, you have his key. Just take off that back there. You got, his name skips me now. It's like I know the other ones. Okay, so you got, what, Zato, Izzy, oh, Ollie, there we go. Little Ollie inside the cockpit there. And in comparison to the figure key, once again, much better. So now on the morpher, this thing is so finicky. There we go. So it's kind of the same as Green's. And now we can bring Stego Spike into the mix. Now, I've heard quite a few complaints about this guy as far as his pegs go. Like, I've seen reports of some breakage on the headpiece here, I believe. But like I said, just try your best to apply equal pressure amongst the pieces, and you should probably be fine. If not, I'd say contact Hasbro customer service, and they can help you from there. But as far as the actual Zord goes, this does look really nice, though. Feels sturdy. It's a little bigger than Ankylo or Tricera, so there is a bit more heft here. And then as for that exclusive form, I think we'll start off with our, what do you call these, fist pieces? I don't know. But we want to bring those two together. Remove the top spike piece from Stego if it wants to come off. And that's going to attach to these two here. So there you go. And then you'll pretty much just disassemble Stego here. I wonder where I should start though. The instructions say the legs do come off. Well, let's just take this back off first. Maybe things will clear up. All right. Okay, I've got it now. So top piece comes off here. These two separate, as well as these two. Front legs attached to the body. Again, this is kind of scary just due to how tight these connections are. Then we can finally bring in Tricera here. That will attach to the side there. Black's back piece goes there. Let's see, what else am I missing? It's like these instructions are just so not intricate. Okay, so I think Black's side piece is attached somewhere over here. These pegs are just so annoying. So these shoulder pieces for Stego, I believe, just click in on the side there for like tank treads. Pegs are just so annoying though. I almost don't want to do this for him just because I don't think it's worth it. Then these two shoulder pieces, once again repaints from red. Looks like, hold up. Looks like they just attach to these pieces here. Like I'm doing like a very loose combination because I really just don't want to risk breaking anything here. Alright, same with that piece there. Prop it to the side. And Stego's head can just go on top there. So there you go, kind of like this little tank formation. Once again, I'm not going to be using this mode, but if you want to, there you go. So now we have our morph key for Hobby here. There's no other one to compare it to because I don't have the figure. Once again, on the back, you have a little Hobby in the cockpit there. It's kind of hard to see just due to how black it is, but there's a bit of a decent image there. Then once again in the morpher, make sure it's on. Let's see, is it a new sound? I don't believe that's new. I think that's reused. So nothing new there. So now we can finally start moving into Megazord combos, and we'll start off with the 3 Knights combination with Tricera and Ankelo here. And here we have the 3 Knights formation. Now I kind of had to do a quick cutaway to how to transform it because like just trying to, you know, do that and talk on camera, it's just like, it's not worth it. Plus like just, once again, just with how tight those pegs are, it just really hurts your hands to try and handle this thing. So fair warning, just be careful when transforming this thing. But apart from that though, the actual toy itself is a fairly good representation of what you see in the show. As a matter of fact, I think this is probably like one of the most suit-accurate Megazords we've ever gotten, if I'm being honest here. There's a certain sleekness to it that even Bandai wasn't quite able to achieve back in the day. And despite the extra pieces, the articulation does still remain a fair amount. But now let's move into the individual modes for Ankelo and Tricera. Now we'll do Tricera first because I don't believe the box or even the instructions tells us how to make this, so you just got to go off of what you see in the show. the ankle formation. Definitely not one of my favorites if we're being honest here. I mean, you literally just switch around a couple of bits on him, leave out some like the Tricera head and T-Rex head, and you've got this here. I mean, functionally, I guess it's okay. I mean, I don't really get why the hammer couldn't use both drill pieces instead of just, you know, one drill, one blaster. But I'm not gonna gripe on it. Now back at square one with the Champion Zord, we can now move into the Tricera mode. And here we have Tricera Mode. Now this is a pretty cool looking formation, all things considered. It's not as blocky or bulky as other formations we'll see in just a second, but it makes good use of the Tricera Zord without blocking any, you know, important articulation. Like I can still pose him like I want to, and there's really no hindrance whatsoever. But with that being said, we can now move into Tiger Lance mode. And here we have the Tiger Claw formation, and I've got to say, I think this is one of the coolest looking modes individually that's not Five Nights, just because of how involved the Saber-Tooth Zord by itself is. Like, you've got the chest piece, you've got the legs on the side there is whatever you call them. I don't know if it's weapons or... But you've also got the head on the sword there, which also doesn't make sense, but at least it does something. And then even right down to the leg pieces on the side here, like no other Zord in this set makes use of the legs. So I just appreciate how involved this mode is. But now we can move into Stego mode. And here we have Black's formation. Now this is definitely an okay mode on its own. Like, it's not my favorite, but it does make good use of the Stego Zord. Like, I do like how the shoulder pieces do add a nice touch to it, but it kind of gets in the way of articulation of the arms when it comes to displaying the shield in the hand there. So your only option really is to rotate that shoulder piece if you want to get any kind of poses out of it. But apart from that little nitpick though, this is still a fun mode on its own. Now let's keep this train going with 5 knights. And now we have our 5 knights combo. Now accuracy wise, this is still a good toy all things considered. Just design wise, which is in no way the toy's fault. Of course not one of my favorites. But still, all things considered though, this is still a pretty good toy and representation of what you see in the show. And also, of note from earlier, the codpiece here you see for the Tiger Lance. This one actually came with the TRex Champion Zord, because the ones you actually get with the Zord itself, the Tiger Lance Zord, are a bit bigger. And for some reason, the, the crotch piece does not include the Zord link system, so you can't attach the actual cod piece there. It just won't stay. So that's why you need this one. Honestly, it's a really odd design choice, but I'm not going to gripe on it because at least they gave it something for it. So that's just whatever. Now, articulation stays intact for the most part. Just some areas where, like you have the drill here, it kind of hinders the arm, but there's ways around that though. I can just kind of just rotate the shoulder there, kind of move the sword to the side, and there you go. Same goes for this one as well. And then legs, you still move the legs, bend the knees. Kind of wants to fall over there. But as you can see, you can still get some pretty dynamic poses out of them. Okay, so at the end of the day, I find the Dino Fury Zords to be a lot of fun despite some of my minor nitpicks about it. Like, there's so much you can get out of it. You can customize the pieces however you want. And as long as you know how to handle those pegs, because I know some of them are prone to breakage, but as long as you know how to handle them, you should probably be fine for the most part. So honestly, I probably want to give this out of 10, maybe 7.5, or maybe even an 8, just because of some of the minor problems that this could come with. Also, it's really hard to handle it in a lot of spots, so just really be careful when trying to transform this thing though. But as always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to like my Facebook page at Milo Tokusatsu. We're also on Twitter and Instagram. And this is Milo Tokusatsu, signing out.